Views and opinions expressed by Edwin are Edwin and Edwin's only, all right? Not of his sponsors, employers, baby mama, anybody he went to school with, anybody he owe money to. With that being said, enjoy the video. Oh my goodness. What's going on, everyone? Edwin Pagan here. Thanks for joining me on the Word on the Road podcast, your weekly technology care package. I am your host, Mr. Edwin Pagan. This is a weekly technology podcast that I do usually once a week. All right, it's a podcast where I take 3 articles that I find on the internet, usually technology related, science, and sometimes I talk about UFOs. Either way, I take 3 articles from the internet, I break them down for you, I give you my analysis, and then I send you on your way more informed and more aware of the things going on the interwebs. And with that being said, guys, I want to appreciate everyone who's been watching the podcast. Oh, Jesus, I just hit the microphone, dog. I appreciate everybody who's been watching the podcast. I know I was supposed to drop an episode last week. Honestly, guys, I've been just trying to figure out a lot of different stuff, primarily things with work, but also just I've been trying to redo the podcast, and I don't know how I'm going to do that, but trying different strategies of how the content I'm trying to create and how I deliver it on here. But most importantly, like, I just want to continue to grow the podcast, and obviously I'm one of those people who's like, you know, I've been doing the podcast I think like we're on episode 34, 35 or whatever, but, you know, obviously I want to constantly be involved in the podcast. So like, you know, I'm constantly trying to figure out how to grow this podcast, not so much grow it, but just change it up a little bit. So hopefully, with the changes you'll see coming up in the next couple days, just on YouTube, hopefully it helps build the podcast and the following, but more importantly, allows me to kind of deliver the content in the way that I want. But with that being said, man, I hope everyone's been doing good, man. I hope everyone's having a good quarantine. Hopefully things are starting to ease up in your world. I know that in Orlando, it kind of feels the same, kind of doesn't. I'm almost kind of like I've gotten used to quarantine life. You know, I think for me it's just like wearing a mask now has just become the most normal thing possible. But outside of that, like now that I'm working full time and just always at home, like from 9 to 5, it's a little weird for me. Just being at home like just really just working from home. Because I was doing other work prior to that where I was consulting and I was leaving the house. I was going different places. I was different location. Obviously, I had to follow like the protocol with like wearing masks and all that good stuff. But like being home all the time, it's like, it's weird. But with being home all the time, I'm constantly thinking about, all right, what videos can I be doing? And I really want to start putting out some more videos about like work from home and like how to build the home office and like kind of like the type of setup that the elite, because I feel like a lot of people out there are working from home or doing school from home. So why not like make videos about the best setup? So hopefully you'll be seeing some videos me dropping up about that. But outside of that, guys, I'm good. I want to jump right into the stories because we got some interesting articles today. So with that being said, guys, the articles we're going to discuss today are available in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or whatever major podcast you're listening to, it'll be in the description, man. All right. That being said, guys, first article of the day is coming from the fine folks at TheVerge.com, which is these anti-procrastination smart glasses use AI to monitor what you look at all day, bro. It's like a Fitbit for your brain, bro. So check it out, man. These glasses basically right here have a camera on them, all right? And they're connected with your smartphone. And basically what they do is as you wear them throughout the day, they are monitoring what you're doing, right? So if it can tell when you're looking at your phone, it can tell when you're looking at a girl, it can tell when you're looking at your computer screen, it can tell you what things you're looking at, right? And with that information that it compiles, it can kind of give you a profile of what you've been doing all day and how your time has been utilized, bro. So like I saw some of the screenshots below of how the data looks like, but pretty much it can give you data on things like, you know, this is what you worked on, this is the things that distracted you, and it gives you a way to like measure exactly the things that you're looking and you're wasting your time with, bro. And like this is really freaking insanely like interesting, right? Because the reason I say that is like I was a big believer in like Fitbits, bro. Like I think Fitbit, when I had like the Fitbit watch, it was one of those things that like I owe a lot of the way I lost weight to that device, because when you can see how many calories you've burnt in a day, when you can see exactly how many miles you ran and you can post it, etc., when you can measure it and hold yourself accountable for it, it makes it so you're more successful. And I think this is one of those things that can build really great work work habits in the sense of like, if you're someone who's constantly distracted like me, like I'm a very distracted person when I work. And that's one of the reasons why I have to put phones over here. I have to put myself in a different area. But when you have a device that's constantly reminding you, hey, you're focusing on this, you're focusing on the wrong things, and actually gives you a measurement to see it, it's pretty insane. And what's really gnarly about this, it's using artificial intelligence. So it has the way to kind of have like a base level artificial intelligence where it can just detect, minor things that you're doing. So it can tell when you're not looking at your screen, when you are looking at your screen, or when you're looking at your phone. But it can actually get more and more detailed in like, are you zoning off, etc. So it's one of those things that you can program it the way you want and utilize it the way you want. And so I think the name of this company is what is it called? Octify Specs, man. They're actually on Indiegogo. I saw that they launched today. Let me see where that goes real quick. Yeah, they are Indiegogo, the first productivity boosting smart glasses. They're called the Octify Specs, man. They've already raised $21,000, almost $22,000. So this is pretty nuts, bro. I'm actually pretty insanely, like, not insanely gnarly, interested in looking at these, but I think this is one of the things that's going to be a game changer. I'm very interested to see how the artificial intelligence works on this, and especially when you have a device sitting on your face that's constantly capturing data. So definitely check out the article. It is available on theverge.com. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to be one of those things that's really going to revolutionize the workplace, or it's very intrusive. Who knows? All right, next, that being said, guys, next article of the day is coming from the fine folks at, what website is this that I got on this at? Next article of the day is coming from the fine folks at US News. Amazon wins FAA approval to deliver packages by drone, son. Think about that. Pretty soon, Amazon's gonna be having drones that leave their facility and drop packages off at your house, man. So this is coming from the FAA. Getting Amazon packages delivered from the sky is becoming closer to a reality. The Federal Aviation Administration said Monday it has granted Amazon approval to deliver packages. Now, this had been something that they had been doing since 2013. So they've been trying to figure out how to get drones and packages into people's houses. And Amazon's vision really is something of how can we get packages to people in 30 minutes or less. So the fulfillment of 30 minutes or less, which is insane, bro. Back in my days, it was like a week. You know what I'm saying? Like a month ago, it was like 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Or 2 days. Now it's like Amazon's like 30 minutes. Now the packages, obviously, they're 5 pounds or less. And I actually found a video of how this actually looks like. And I got to tell you, man, so this is pretty much how the drones look like right here. So you can see the packages are coming off the assembly line. They go under the drone, and then the drone basically flies to your house, and then the rest is history, man. Now this is pretty insane that Amazon is doing this, bro. Especially because it's gonna be an autonomous fleet, right? So it's taking and relieving the need of having drivers out there in the roads, and having these expensive airplanes, and just having basically drones do the last mile. And they're also drones that are completely electric, so the carbon footprint is a lot smaller because the drones, again, they're using electricity. Now the catch is the drones obviously can only fly, I think it's like up to 15 miles or something like that. It's not bad though. And so this is really like an area in aviation that's being competed by everyone, right? Because UPS is trying to get there. I think Google, Alphabet is another company that's trying to create drones to do fulfillment, and then Amazon's in there. So I think if anybody can do this, I think it's going to be Amazon. I think that they deal with so much fulfillment with packages and etc. that they're really the ones who probably would benefit the most from having this. The fact that it's more autonomous things out there, it's less workers they need, etc. So look for the next drone coming to your neighborhood to deliver packages soon by Amazon. All right, cool, man. A couple articles today, guys. I feel like I'm running by these. Am I? No, it's only 10 minutes left on the podcast. All right, cool, man. Next article of the day is coming from the fine, oh my God, where did this take me? From the IBitimes.com, which is FBI. Next article of the day is coming from International Business Times. FBI arrest a Russian man who offered $1 million to Nevada company employee for planting malware, son. Do you imagine you're just chilling one day and someone comes up to you, someone in a Russian accent is like, listen, bruh, I'm going to give you $500,000 if you plug this USB drive into your computer at work, and I'm going to give you another $500,000 when I find out you did it, right? And that's pretty much what happened. The short and sweet part of this story. hold on a second. So if you scroll down, basically, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation foiled a cyber attack after a Russian national offered a $1 million bribe to an employee of a Nevada company for planting malware. I'm almost going to guess that this was an energy company. But if you read the article, the employee said, "Nah, fam, I won't do it for $500,000." And the Russian man was like, "All right, I'm going to do it for $1 million. I'm going to give you this burner phone. Don't turn it on until you get the mess or until you get the money, etc." And so check out the article because it kind of details this a lot more, a lot more in detail about basically what happened. But the short and sweet version of this is what we call industrial espionage. Right now, I know on this podcast I talk a lot about tech stories, but my passion is technology and cybersecurity, and I can tell you that this is a real thing. You can have, like I've always said this, you can have the best firewall, antivirus software, etc. But your system is only as secure as the people with the keys to it, right? And so what these kind of hacker groups do is they offer these employees a whole bunch of money and say, "Hey, listen, we'll give it to you in Bitcoin. No one will ever know." And then the employee installs it, right? Gets the money, and then the people who install this on the company's computers, then they hold the computers ransom, right? Or hold them hostage, and they encrypt all the data and say, unless you give us $5 million, we're not going to give you access to your data. And a lot of times these companies comply with that ransom. Some of these companies even have insurance because they're like, listen, we either get our files or we don't. And this is how a lot of these but these hacker groups make a lot of money, man. They're like basically like Somalian pirates, but of the cyber world. It's a really, really interesting thing. So in this article, it just kind of details of like how they arrested this Russian insider, the connection it had with the Russian government, and how like there was a similar plot in December 2019 that the FBI almost caught. The FBI also stopped as well, which is very similar. Someone a Russian agent offering someone money to put a USB drive on their company computer so they can in turn hack the network. So this is something that's real. A lot of people don't realize this, right? How much of a threat this is. And it's something that has been going on for a really long time. What I tell people is that a lot of these employees who work at these big agencies and at these big companies, they're just like you and I. They're not these experts in cybersecurity and hacking, etc. And so what these Russian nationalists and insiders do is that they find these employees on Facebook, they find them on LinkedIn, they get close to them, and they find a way to get them to do something for them. It happens all the time. There was a similar example of this a couple years back. This must have been like 2011, 2012, where there was literally a girl who pretended to be a Lockheed Martin employee, right? Started talking to a bunch of Lockheed Martin employee engineers on Facebook. She was a cute girl, etc. Out of nowhere, these engineers start telling her secrets. They start talking about projects that they're working on because they think she's a Lockheed Martin employee. Turned out she wasn't. Turned out she had infiltrated Lockheed Martin. I think the name of the company was Lockheed Martin. I don't know. That being said, it's a real threat. That type of stuff is real. And it's one of those things that's like, man, that's crazy that employee said, nah, it's not worth the jail time. But it kind of just speaks to like, that's a real thing. Like you imagine someone offered you $1 million to put a jump drive into your computer, what would you do? I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying, bro. All right, guys, that concludes all the stories for today, guys. Remember, the articles we discussed today will be available in the description below. It's kind of a short episode, but I wanted to get one out there for you guys, man. With that being said, guys, leave your comments and questions below. Drop your story suggestions below. I appreciate everyone who's been watching the podcast. And as always, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, my name is Edwin Pagan. I appreciate all y'all listening to the podcast. Stay safe, wash your mask, hug your mom. I don't know what I was going to say. All right, guys. I love you guys. Take care. Peace.
Max, what are you doing?
Watching my dad's channel.
Watching your dad's YouTube channel?